Hello, welcome to episode 3 of Forget Flash and Blade. I'm your host, Dave. In this episode, we have Brian Cortese facing off with Rich Owens. Brian brings his Maylock 1 list with the Blind Warner Congregation theme, and Rich winds up bringing his Makeda 3 with the Imperial Warhost theme. Both are great players to watch. This is a great game. Really comes down to a close wire. They are both 3-0 in the South Jersey Scrum League and are trying to vie for the semifinalist position to play into the finals. I hope you enjoy the game, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below.
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm the Minions player for this matchup. My thoughts on what to drop are my first list was Jaga Jaga. She has a Blackhide Wrestler, a Bull Snapper, an Ironback Spitter, a Soul Slave, base, and double croaks, your normal shooting Jaga Jaga list. I won't go into specifics on it because I didn't play that list. My other list that I did play was Malek the Dreadbound. He's a double Wrestler, Soul Slave, two Witch Doctors, a Totem Hunter, and four Max Posses, three of which have Void Leech weapon attachments. My thought on this was into his Morgul 2 list, I think I do a very good job, and into his Makeda 3 list, I'm able to just tank out. Like, I know he's an armor cracking list, but even with Enrage on things on my feature, and he's still rolling at a lot of dice minus 3s and dice minus even more than that. Malakarn with Enrage is still rolling at dice minus 6 on my feat turn, which even with Weapon Master means that he's his tenacity is definitely down. I mean, averaging 4.5 points a swing, that's a lot better than I'm assuming where Rich is meant or is normally wanting to be. The reason in this matchup I didn't have a blind walker, which I really would have liked in this matchup, but I've been playing without the blind walker just because I think having the double wrestler and allowing me to put a wrestler on both flanks allows me to basically press each side more. I found when I was playing with the blind walker that the side that had the blind walker on it, my opponent didn't really have any fear. He was able to just barrel down on that side, and because there's no real heavy on that side. So I'm basically relying on POW 13s or the POW 14s of the blind walker to get me home, which very rarely got there.
Hey everyone, this is Rich Owens here. I'm a Scorn player. So for this match, I brought Morgul 2 and Makeda 3. That's my pairing for the scrum we're running here in South Jersey. So looking at Brian Cortese's list, my wonderful opponent, I knew that I couldn't play Morgul 2. He relies pretty heavily on mortality for damage output. And Brian had these things called, what are those guys called?
Void leeches.
Void leeches that say I can never cast mortality because I'm at minus 5 inches, so that's no fun. So I brought Makeda 3. Bit of a janky list. She's a janky caster. She's not very good, but she's awesome, and we'll get to what I mean by that shortly. So its list is basically a big brick, utilizing the Siege Animaterex to have some threat range and Mullet Karn as well. It's kind of a fun list because it's bricky and hits extremely hard, but because of Makeda's feat and one of her spells, she's able to mulch through infantry, so the list can kind of do both things at the same time, which is why I like playing it. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be Makeda 3 versus a ton of impossible to kill gators.
This is Brian. I am deploying, looks like, for my first turn here. This table didn't have a ton of terrain that would require Pathfinder on my side of the board, so I did take the objective that would allow me to heal. It only came up once during the game, but I didn't need the Pathfinder, so on my side you'll see there's a cloud and an acid pool, which I can go straight through. You see, I'm beginning to put my guys down. Malok's deploying front and center because the objective in the middle of the game was to get behind this building in the middle, or at least be able to use that building to properly screen out Rich's army. And on the left, my plan is to basically just run around that piece of rough terrain in the top left, just because I'm not going to have to feat my first turn, which is big.
So I'm deploying now. I will make this quick. I am already just immeasurably sad because I did not get the first turn, which I wanted because I wanted to force Maylock to pop his feet bottom of 1, which I think I was going to be able to do because of the speed of certain elements in my army. But unfortunately, got to make do with what we have. So I set up my army here in a pretty typical fashion, and it's over to Brian first turn.
All right, I'm going to open my turn the way I usually do. Maylock is going to put up Death Pact, Camp 4, and charge something random across the board.
Oh, how surprising.
Exactly. And I'd probably, just to put Rich at ease, I probably would have had defeat turn 1 had he had that turtle all the way up towards that hill in the middle of the board. So as you can see, I'm putting up Death Pact. Both of my Witch Doctors are casting Death Ride to give me a little extra distance, and basically my whole army is running 11 with Death Ride, putting up concealment, and going up the board. That on the top left is going to be outside of 14 of him for the Death Pact, but it's not crazy important this turn. I know they'll be able to pinch in around that objective later on in the turn. Originally, I was going to take the corrosion on my Wrestler, but I figured there's no reason to have him up that far. I didn't want to get shot by the giant death turtle immediately. So that's basically it. Move up, unpack, done.
All right, so immediately I start the turn. I move the turtle up. I want to take shots at the Soul Slave because if I can snipe that thing out early, that's a huge win. But little did I know, his little dinky Soul Slave happens to have 8 boxes, which is bullcrap if you ask me. It's also armor 19. So I do that. I actually think I do no damage to it.
No, you did a total of 3 points, which I then was able to heal back with my objective.
Right, so that didn't feel good. Then the rest of my turn, it's basically a setup. Trying to stay out of his threat ranges. I'm a little conservative here. In hindsight, I wonder if I was a bit too conservative, but I didn't want to let him throw a bunch of chip damage onto my important pieces, because even if he probably wasn't going to kill them, I knew this was going to be a knockdown, drag-out attrition fight, so those points here and there do matter. So I ended up basically advancing everything outside of the 13-inch threat of his Gator Posse. I think you just leaving you like a couple charges on the turtle here and there. Makeda walks up. She puts a Vortex on herself, Hand of Death on the turtle. And then everything else basically just maneuvers around and gets in position for next turn. And Agonizer walks up, Gnawing Pain, get that nice -2 aura over, and it's over to Brian.
Mentioning the Agonizer, I did declare Totem Hunter's Prey as the Agonizer. I knew that as soon as I could get that -2 strength bubble away, the better. That making my posse effectively hitting an 11 instead of 13 is a huge swing in damage. I mean, just massive. So, I think we're still going through his turn, but I'll start explaining what I do on mine. Mine, I have a conundrum this turn. I've got basically 2 trains of thought. One, I can go hyper-aggressive up the board and feet and tank out for a turn, but I know that's going to be met with his feet and probably still, a lot of pain. So what I decide to spend my turn doing is getting a couple charges in on the turtle just to kind of try and bog it down a little. Make him utilize some piece to free up the turtle. And then everybody else just kind of moves up in a very pensive manner, making it very difficult for him to find good spots to land his major pieces. You see I'm laying out a lot of widgets right here, the 10-inch to the Titans, and the 13-inch to Malakarn and the turtle. I know I'm not going to be able to stay out of those threats, but the point of this turn is just give him bad spots to land the models. It doesn't work out so well once he frees up the turtle later on in the turn, but we'll see. I do get a couple charges in on the turtle, and I actually spike some great damage. I think I end up doing something like 11 points to the turtle.
11 or 12.
Yeah, and I'm rolling a dice -9, I believe, on these.
Yeah, so I was expecting you to do maybe 3 or 4 points on
that. I got 2 models in on them, and they both rolled great on that turtle. Which was a surprising, a very surprising bonus in damage. And that's really it. You can see on my turn, I move it very pensively, and as soon as his turn starts, I'm thinking, can I get Moloch Karn to this turn?
So my go-to motto in War Machine usually is when in doubt, press forward and go on the offensive, because I think that's the type of game we play. So I decide to try to kill as many Gator Posse as I can this turn, because I know his feed is coming soon. So the whole goal here basically is to press forward pretty hard on the zone closest to the bottom, because I think I can get Mullet Karn over to those two Gators in front of the turtle, kill those guys, and then get the turtle further up. And the turtle's going to be able to do some serious damage to that nice little packet of Gator Posse in the middle of the zone. Now, ideally, I'd love to get the turtle to charge the heavy in the zone. I'm definitely in threat range, but I don't think there's any way that I'm going to be able to clear those posse in front, so I'm going to have to settle with killing a bunch of Gators. And the other thing I want to accomplish here is I want to have the turtle try to shoot the solo camping his flag off so I can kind of stay in the scenario game. But we'll get to that a little bit later. So what Makeda's doing here, she's walking up into a pretty aggressive position, and I'm doing something I like to do, which is to get one of her little escort ladies up into a zone, into an annoying position, because for one, her escort is going to contest the zone, and she also has magic weapons. So on his feet, it's a model that I can still make free strikes with, which is pretty important. Boosted PAL 12s, that'll kill Gators if I spike, at least hurt them. So what we're doing here is Mullet Karn's walking up. He's rolling some dice on a Gator. He's killing a Gator. He's sidestepping. He's killing another Gator. And then eventually Mullet Karn is going to Fate Walker, and he's going to Repo 5. He's going to take a free strike.
And I'm going to miss.
Which is good. I like that. Probably a bit of a mistake there. Probably didn't need to be within 2 inches, but that's what happens. So now I'm kind of realizing that I might be able to get to that heavy, but I don't have a way to get rid of those Gators in the way. So I charge up in the Gators. I've got Hand to Death, so he doesn't get any tough checks. I roll really well with my impacts, so I'm feeling pretty good. Charge attack kills a Gator. I think I end up killing maybe 3.
I think so. I think the one on the left side of the siege animatrix, I think, lives. That might be it, though.
Right. And then, importantly, I take my gunshots on the solo. That's the Gatorman Witch Doctor on his flag. And his defensive stats are defense 12. Armor.
Arm 18 with Death Pact.
So the turtle guns, he's got dual attack. That's why he can charge melee and then shoot out of melee into something. So I need 6s to hit. And then you said your armor 17, right?
18.
18, so I'm POW 14, so I'm off 4s. So if I roll probably about average, I should kill that guy. Unfortunately, I don't think I did a single point of damage to him.
Yeah, I think you missed twice, and the other time you didn't break armor.
Right, so that's actually really important, because I am contesting the flag, but if I kill him, it forces him to then bring another solo over to camp that flag if he wants to.
I don't have one in that area at all. I would have given up on that flag for the remainder of the game.
Right, so that's an important turning point. You see the Archidon went up and killed another Gator. So I like my position in that zone. I know I'm going to lose a turtle, but the problem is what you'll see next turn is Mullet Karn's going to get punched in the face, and that is maybe something that I should not have let happen. Then on the top side, you'll see everyone just kind of positions around, Beasts get in position, and I believe that's my turn. It's over to you.
All right, plans for this turn. I know I have to kill the battle engine, and I'm going to devote my heavy to that. And then my other plan is to kill Mullet Karn, to get myself a mortality on Mullet Karn and kill him. If I can get a mortality on Mullet Karn, it's relatively certain that I should be able to hopefully take him down. And this is definitely going to be feet turn because we are stuck in at this point, and I want as much armor as possible because Makeda did not feet on her previous turn, and I know she has that bullet sitting in the chamber and it's ready to come out. So I'm not sure what I'm. Oh, right now the Wrestler is attacking the Siege Animatrix, and he rolled relatively average, but on average rolls he was able to take down the Siege Animatrix, and I believe he had a Fury or two left. The Soul Slave then moves up and mental forces a Mortality into Malak Karn, and only just hits. So Malak Karn is now a defense 11, arm 16.
Correct.
Which is a lot easier to deal with than the 13-18 that he was previously. I'm going to activate these two posse members, and they are both going to charge. One is only able to get a single attack, and what you're going to see, if you can actually see the dice, is the beginning of me rolling very well to hit Malak Karn, but very, very poor on damage. Unfortunately, I am in gnawing pain, and there really isn't anything that I'm going to be able to do about that. Oh, one thing we did miss in the beginning of the turn was the Totem Hunter, after I feated, moved through the building, jumped behind Orin Midwinter, and killed him so that he wouldn't be able to Arcane Vortex the mortalities I threw into Malak Karn.
And I'll have to look at it again, but I'm not sure there was really anything I could have done about that. He was within corporal. He just gets wherever he wants to go.
I move 8, I jump 5, I threat 15, and I only needed the one attack to kill Orin.
Right.
I even think I ended up making a single attack on on one of the members of the Exalted Court. I don't think I did any damage, but
correct. No,
I think I just whiffed that one. So what you're seeing now is I'm rolling bad enough that I'm having to now devote Gators to Malak Karn that I don't want to. The Gators on this flank I really wanted to devote heavily into bogging down the Bronzeback Titan. I knew he was going to feed, I knew he was going to hit real hard next turn, but I wanted him to be fighting in the position that he's at right now, not any farther forward. But I rolled very poorly on Malak Karn, so I ended up having to devote, I think, 3 or 4 Gators from that flank, and I still did not kill him. But luckily, I left Malak Karn on a single box, and because of mortality, he had grievous wounds on him, so he's unable to heal. So although Malak Karn is not dead, he's neutralized, because I'm going to be able to do that last point to him on my next turn in some fashion. One Gator did charge the Archidon, and he actually spiked a damage roll also, and did a solid amount of damage to the Archidon. I don't think he took anything out, or maybe he took one system out, but...
I think he did, and then I healed it.
He did heal it. And then, as you can see, I do end up killing the one member of the Exalted Court that's over there. I know it's going to trigger Battle Driven, but I've got to get this model out of here. Like Rich was saying previously, this is basically the model he put out here to die, and I'm going to take that model when he gives it. And my Wrestler basically just, walks up into a counter position, because I know that the Bronzeback Titan or the Titan Gladiator is going to be coming up there, and I'm going to have to deal with one of them. And sure enough, that's the end of my turn, and I hope I don't die too much.
So first things first, I have to take a few frenzy checks. I leech Fury from the Archidon, so I don't have to there. All my Titans are good. I just leave a bunch of Malak Karn because he's effectively dead at this point, so he just frenzies and does nothing to a Gator. So I think what you saw and what you're going to see this turn is why it was so critical in this game that I am able to force him to use his feet earlier, which I was not able to do. Because now you see that I'm going to be able to make a ton of attacks into his army. And without the +2 armor, I think a lot of these attacks go in my favor. But what you're going to see is with the +2 armor, I'm not going to be able to kill as many Gators as I think I need to be able to stay up on the attrition and the scenario game. So let's see what we're doing here. We're moving Makeda up. We're using her feet. She's got Vortex of Destruction up. She's got 4 Gators in her melee range, and she is just wailing on them. So she needs 4s to hit if they're in her front arc, and she's POW 17 from Battle Driven, and I believe your armor 22.
22, so dice -5 still.
Right, so I've got Puppet Master on me, but I need 13s to kill, so I need some hot dice. And my dice are pretty hot. I'm rolling a lot of 11s and 12s. And I think I'm able to kill 3 of those 4 gators,
And I
and
think you
then
made the fourth one tough too.
correct with the second member of her exalted court, which was kind of hanging out behind the battle lines. So that's going on. I think we're still making attacks with her.
Yeah, she had a very long activation with making
Correct.
a lot of attacks.
And then she blood booned Lightning Strike, which is the Arcanon's Animus of Sprint, and then she backflipped back behind the woods out of line of sight. This is why I like to play her, because she kind of ninjas around the board, which is super fun to me. She's got a very interesting playstyle. I'm not going to say it's great, but it's fun. So now we're finagling the Bronzeback. We want to get him into that nice pocket of 4 gators that you'll see directly in front of him. So Zadesh, my solo, kind of walks around to stay on the flag. Just by some miracle, I kill all 4 of these gators. I'm going to score an additional control point. So what you're going to see is the Gladiator very soon. Nope, we're not doing that yet. We're looking at Pain Givers. Up now, the Gladiator's going to go. He rushes the Bronzeback, so the Bronzeback's going to be able to move into that pocket. The Gladiator walks up, and I believe he kills that Gator that was on the ground.
The one that had tuffed is no longer with us.
Correct. And the Bronzeback's going to have Pathfinder now, and it's going to be able to walk up 6 inches. We got the Pain Givers walking around. They enrage the Bronzeback, which is the important thing, and they throw around some conditions. And then take some very ineffectual swings in the Totem Hunter. I think I may do a point here.
Yeah, you need some pretty hot dice.
Oh,
to hit
for
it,
sure.
Even in the back arc.
Then the Bronzeback walks up. And this is where the power of that feat comes in, because I go from probably killing 3 to 4 gators to killing 1.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more to say than that's math. He's got +2 armor. That's 2 damage. I'm not doing every swing. I think I might miss 1 or 2 attacks too, which will happen because I need 5s. You'll roll a 4 or 3 once in a while. But that's unfortunate. The Arcanon walks up and does basically nothing. So at this point, I'm really feeling it. It's not feeling good because I'm really getting behind on control points, because I've essentially lost the ability to contest his flag. So it's over to you, Brian.
So looking at this turn, as Rich is feeling himself getting behind on control points, I'm feeling myself getting ahead. The zone you see lower, I basically have this zone to myself. I know that if I get that Arcadon out of there, which I got a Wrestler right there.
Trivial at this
it's
point.
trivial. I mean, admittedly, he could probably throw, if he really wanted, he could probably later on throw some whip guys or some was it Pain Givers.
But even then,
Yeah.
I might have
Exactly.
one Pain Giver that can run to contest your
Exactly,
flag,
and that's
so.
only momentarily because I'm going to kill it with something. So the other part of this turn is I've got to finish off Malakarn. That just has to happen, and I've got to get rid of the Bronzeback Titan. And I end up making what I think is a mistake. I move Malok over and I boost a mortality into the Bronzeback because I wanted to cement the fact that it dies. But between a boosted mortality and Death Pact, I leave Malok naked. He's got 0 fury on him, and I probably when I look at the dice later on, I only ended up using 1 fury on my Wrestler to kill the Bronzeback. So odds are I didn't actually need the immortality, but I wanted to cement that Bronzeback kill because at that point I've killed the Bronzeback, Malakarn, and the Battle Engine, which in my opinion were his 3, other than Makeda of course, his 3 deadliest pieces. And I still have a lot of Gators. Like you can see my dead pile down there. I've lost 12 Gators at this point, so I've still got 8 kicking and 2 of my heavies. And my heavies are both absolutely fresh. And so as you can see, I do have some Gators maneuvering around. I'm making a couple attacks on the Bronzeback. More importantly, what you saw earlier in the turn is my Totem Hunter took 3 free strikes and leapt, and he killed the Agonizer. He finally got around to killing his prey, the Agonizer. I then switched my prey to Makeda, but that didn't end up actually mattering. But the Gnawing Pain Aura is now gone, which is amazing for me. As you can see, the Wrestler gets up there, and I do remove the Bronzeback Titan. I rile up a little bit, leaving, I believe, I have 3 Fury on each one of my Wrestlers. Because my thought was, hey, never filled them. But then I look at Maylock and realize once again he is naked, so I ain't transferring anything. Figured, oh, maybe he'll be foolish and maybe he'll not. Maybe he'll kill a wrestler or something. Wouldn't that be great? So I'm making a couple more trivial attacks right now on the objective. I think I ended up doing something like 8 points total to the objective with the 7 attacks I put into it. I didn't roll very well attacking the objective, but it is what it is. And are we coming around to the end of my turn? I think.
Yeah, it's on me now.
Yeah, we're on Rich now, and I am up 4 control points to 1 at this point.
Correct. So Brian has left me a glimmer of hope at an assassination. So I'm looking and I'm trying to see if there's a way I can overtake with Makeda on the Maylock. Because if I can do that, if I can get her into melee, it's over. She's POW 17. She'll have, he's on no fury. Basically, she needs 2 or 3 attacks to put him in the dirt. Should be fairly easy. The problem with that is he spaced his models out well enough to where I can't do that. And I try to see if there's a way where this gladiator can walk, and if there's a way he can throw a gator onto the ground that can then create sort of a chain that Makeda can then overtake through onto Maylock. And just so we're doubly clear here for the viewers, Maylock is that guy in the top rectangle in the bottom left corner. Right. So I spend a ton of time pre-measuring this and looking at it.
Talking about throwing rules.
Right, because whoever throws. And it's just not going to happen. So what I eventually come to is that I can have the gladiator walk over, throw a gator in the Maylock, knock him down, and then I think Makeda can spend 3 to cast an Eliminator and boost damage on him. And then she's upkept Vortex of Destruction, so she'll take a melee attack on a gator in front of her, and then Blood Boon a second Eliminator into Maylock, and I'll have a Fury left over to boost that damage. So if all that goes well, I'll get 2 boosted POW 13s on Maylock. He's armor 19, so that'll be off 6. So I would need to basically roll 2
15s?
2 15s in a row. And
or
get
14 and a 15?
And get past his tough.
He's
Which
not tough.
Okay.
Maylock's not tough.
Not great odds, but it's what I got at the moment. I'm really far down on the CP game. So again, this is just me agonizing over this decision, no pun intended, making sure all my models are in the right position. So let's see, it's POW 13, so it's off 6. He's got how many boxes?
17. I think. Pretty sure it's 17. Yes, it's 17.
Yeah, so I would need a 15 and a 14. Really terrible odds. Again, I do have Puppet Master on me, but it's just not going to happen. It's improbable that would happen. But hey, you never know. Crazier things have happened.
More importantly in this turn, he ends up taking a free strike with his Kreia, which I then finish off.
Right, which I did so that the Gladiator had enough to move over to that proxy base over there, which is right in front of the Wrestler. And he picks up the Gator in front of him, chucks him at Maylock, and knocks them both down. I unfortunately forget the throw damage here. So you would have taken my strength, right?
The 14, so the dice -5, and I don't believe we already full on.
Yeah, right.
Time,
so
you couldn't boost it.
On average, it does 2 points, which evens it up a little bit, but it's still not enough. And then here, Makeda walks up, and she does an Eliminator on Maylock. She does 5 points to him.
5 or 6, something like that.
I think it was 5. I think I decided to Pup Master because I needed to at that point to get lucky, and then I just rolled a 10 again. Did 5 points. Swung the Gator in front of me with my sword. Rolled really god-awful on my melee attack.
I think she did 3 points.
Yeah, and then I just failed to Blood Boon off of the Gator and never got that second Eliminator, so it was just done. I ended up doing 5 points to Maylock, and that's all she wrote.
Yep, that is the end of the game. We shook hands after that, and I won on control. At the end of the turn, I do score 2 more in the bottom zone. It was a really great game, very, very grindy. You can see from the bottom left corner of the screen where I've got my pile of dead gators that he did kill a ton of gators. I usually keep them like that in case I feel like reviving, although I don't think I revived any gators over the course of the whole game. I normally don't. It was a great game, and Rich is a great guy to play against.
Likewise.
Yep.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching this week's episode. It looks like next week we have 3 4-0s. We are going to record the two 4-0s game and also try to record the pair down game. I'd also like to try to see if we can get another bonus game in and try to record 2 players that would be, that would have a good time recording and commenting on it. I'd like to give out a special thanks to Brian and Rich for allowing FFB to record their game, taking the time to do the commentary afterwards. They're both great players, great guys, and did a great job on this video, so thanks, guys. Next time, Rich, I want your recording voice, and Brian, don't sweat trying to kill Mullenkarn with a spray, which killed your own dude, dice off 8, and rolling a 17 to do it. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Take it easy, and have fun.
Blah, blah, blah.